So hi everyone, I'm Diana Page, and I am absolutely excited to share the Forever incentives with you. Who has qualified for one of the Forever travel incentives, either Eagle Manager, Global Rally, Silver Rally, European Rally, some stage in the past? Okay, so a few of you, who would like to qualify again or qualify for the first time and keep qualifying? Okay, well, you're in the right pod. If you love to travel, put your hand up. If you don't like to travel, you're probably in the wrong pod. You should probably go find somewhere else to go, because this is all about travel. And I'm excited to be able to share the session this morning with three dynamic FBOs who've also got a passion for travel. But we're going to look at travel from a few different perspectives, because like all the different reasons why people get started with Forever, travel means different things to different people. And if I go back a step, on the 1st of October, I celebrated 18 years with Forever. Yes, you're supposed to say you don't look old enough to be working Forever 18 years. So we'll try that again, shall we? So on the 1st of October, I celebrated 18 years with Forever. And, I can't, in my wildest dreams, I could never have imagined the journey that I was going to travel with this company. We've celebrated some incredible highs. I've had some moments of ripping my hair out and wanting to run from the house, screaming with my arms waving in the air. But I am a totally different person. I would say even unrecognizable for all the personal development I've had. And my family's lifestyle that we've had for many, many years now is incredible. People from the outside looking, people who I grew up with back in Canada say, but how did this happen to you? Who are you? How did this happen to you? And I'm here to share with you that this business is full of very ordinary people who have an opportunity to achieve and live an extraordinary life. When I think about my background, I am probably like most people that when I left school, I didn't have a planned career. Who left school with a planned career? Who knew exactly what you were going to do? One hand. Two out of this whole group. So you know what? We are the same right from the starting point. I did a lot of retail. I did a lot of customer service. I did a lot of order phone taking over the phone, because back in those days, there weren't these things like online orders. And I thought that was it. That was my lot in life. And I somehow fell into a junior marketing role, went on to have a very successful corporate career that I came to the UK with 24 years ago now. And I had a great career. I was earning a really good income. I was earning more money than I ever thought I was going to earn because, of course, I didn't have a planned career. And then I started a family, and today I've got 2 teenage boys who are nearly 16 and nearly 19. This is another opportunity for you to say, no way. You're a bit slow today. Should we try that one again? So I've got 2 amazing teenagers who are nearly 16 and nearly 19. Oh, good. You're with me. And I knew when I was pregnant the first time I didn't want to work full-time, but I wanted to earn a full-time income. I wanted to work flexibly. I wanted to be the primary caregiver for my children. I wanted to raise my kids, but I still wanted to give them the best start in life. Who has children here? Isn't that what every parent wants, is to give their children the best possible start in life? And I couldn't see how I was going to do that stacking shelves in a supermarket. I had to find a way that was still going to give me a corporate style income. And when I joined Forever, I was seduced by the idea of earning a really big income. I'm not going to apologize for it, because nothing else I looked at was offering me the total package that Forever was. And part of that package was the incentives, but my belief was nowhere. I thought maybe my imagination or my belief stretched to maybe earning £1,000 a month. That was my first stepping stone goal, really, was to get to manager. But it never really sunk in that an ordinary person was really going to go on to achieve the global travel incentives, the Forever to Drive incentive, the chairman's bonus. It just, who felt like that when they first joined Forever? who still might feel like, I won't put anybody on the spot, but I'm sure there are people right now who probably still feel like that those incentives aren't for people like me, that they must be for those superstars out there, those superstars who have some special skills or special personality or some magic words. I always thought people had magic words. Well, what they had was words that actually left their mouth. They didn't just think about them. And I can remember probably getting to manager and then starting to work towards the incentive program, car plan, and global rally. It almost felt like I was in a surreal world. And that first time I qualified was in my 3rd year. So my boys were 3.5 and 10 months old and qualified for all the incentives. But you know what's been pretty amazing is there have been many, many, many people across my team who have also qualified. And that's where it gets really exciting. But when I think about why the travel incentive was important to me, you know, I want to take you back before my forever story. That's me, in case you didn't recognize me. Does that look like me? Doesn't even look like me, does it? It doesn't. It does. You know, if I think about, you know, when I was growing up, so my parents are Italian. They immigrated to Canada after the Second World War, not educated, didn't speak the language. So they had very, very traditional working class jobs. And what do the working class jobs pay? Peanuts. And so there was never anything extra. Every half penny was accounted for. This idea of holidays, the word holiday wasn't in my parents' vocabulary. That was never spoken in our home. And as I got older, holidays were when we stayed home and painted the house or weeded the garden. Did anybody else have holidays like that? Okay, so this idea of going away somewhere, this never occurred to me because we just didn't do that. And as I got a bit older, I know I was an avid reader. I loved novels, and these novels took me around the world. But those, you know, places around the world I thought were out there. And I just thought it would be great. You know, they weren't even dreams, they were just wishes that maybe one day I could visit these places. And Q Forever, what I found was when I joined Forever, the travel incentives ticked off more than half of my travel wish list. And so to go from a place of, I was 22 when I first got on a plane, to now having traveled the world twice over because of this company is pretty spectacular. And when I think about the experiences that it has given me, the idea of learning about new cultures, meeting new people, learning about different traditions, and just being part of the world, for me is priceless. And so for me, the incentives, the travel incentives are a big part of my forever goals every year. But we look at incentives or travel from different perspectives. And I wanted to hear from my first guest today, and she's going to look at travel and the forever rallies from her perspective. When I think about this woman, I think about a dynamic, amazing team player, open-minded, great learning attitude, but has a bit of fire in her belly. So can you help me give a warm welcome to one of my lovely team members, Sally Bolingbroke. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Can everybody hear me? Is this working? Good, good. First, I'd like to thank you, Diana,
You're welcome. Do you want to? You can stand here or you can stand there. No, you're happy. Good.
Fine. For asking me today. It's been on one of my goals. I've just been to the goal setting pod next door, and this was on my goal board. So thank you so much. Also, I want to thank Lucy Robmel, who. Sitting there doing this to me, who has been a fabulous support. She adopted me 18 months ago, and her fun and laughter and joy has been a massive support, so thank you, Lucy. I joined Forever about 2.5 years ago. My life had been very much in the corporate world. I'd spent the last 25 years of my corporate career in the recruitment world. I ran a large business in the city, lots and lots of hours. Yes, I was financially rewarded very well, but I didn't have time to enjoy the things that I wanted to enjoy, particularly with my husband. I then decided to start my own business. I don't know why I thought that was going to be easier, but I started my own recruitment business. And yes, that too became, I suppose I was a victim of my own success in a way. The the rewards were great, but I spent 30,000 miles a year travelling around the UK. Life was really hectic. I then had a problem with my health, and I was on high medication, and I wanted to look at a way in which I could improve that naturally. And I came across aloe, but more importantly, I came across Forever's aloe. And now I lead a great life. I have a 30-second commute to my garden at the bottom, my office at the bottom of the garden. So my life is greatly improved. But when I first decided to become an FBO with Forever, the thing that really attracted me was really the travel. Us Bolingbroke's love to travel, I can promise you. We love a holiday, and the thought of a free holiday was even better. So with Global Rally so close in Stockholm this year, I'd heard so many inspirational stories at Success Day, amongst other places, and I thought there's no way that I was going to miss Global Rally. So what did I do? I paid for it myself, along with my roomie Vicky. We bought the tickets, we bought the flights, and off we went. Well, we arrived in Stockholm late on the Wednesday evening, and it was about 11:30, I think, when we finally got to our hotel. And there were banners all over the reception area of our hotel, and we were absolutely, I mean, it just added to the excitement. And even one of the receptionists, as we checked in, said, "We've got a massive rally going on here this weekend." We said, "We know, that's why we're here." So the following morning was spent sightseeing, and everywhere you went there were Forever people. It was just magical, and everybody, although we had language barriers in some cases, my goodness, everybody was hugging, saying hello, waving. It was just great. That afternoon we went to Diana's hotel and met Diana, and we walked into the lobby of the hotel, and it was just UK FBOs everywhere. It was like a massive party. It was unbelievable. We tried the super greens and the sunscreen, which had just been launched the day before. Honestly, it was magical. That night we went out for dinner. A crowd of us went out for dinner, and there was just people everywhere. It was just like being at home, but there was just with all these business owners from all over the world, there was no barrier. We were just one big Forever family. So day one of the rally dawned, and my goodness, I was so excited. It was unbelievable. We were getting the metro into the arena, which was about 20 minutes away, and we arrived on the platform, and my goodness, it was like being at Victoria Station Underground at 5 o'clock on a Friday night. It was absolutely packed, all full of FBOs, and there were some Swedish girls next to us who were so proud to have the rally in their city, and they welcomed us. They were absolutely unbelievable. We then got on the metro, and wow, they were singing, we were dancing. It was I just can't describe what an amazing atmosphere it was. So we arrived at the Globe. Oh my goodness, it was bigger than I would ever have imagined. It was absolutely huge. We got into the arena, 15,000 Forever business owners, and there was a Japanese DJ that they'd brought in, and the place was rocking. 10 o'clock Friday morning, the place was absolutely rocking. It was fantastic, and I have to say the entertainment through the whole 2 days was brilliant. It was entertainment you'd pay serious money for. So over the 2 days there were lots of checks given, $19.5 million, huge. And do you know what? Forever don't have to do that. I didn't have that as a CEO of a company. I didn't get that sort of entertainment and get looked after in that way. It was absolutely amazing. There were many inspirational stories over the 2 days, but the one that really sticks in my mind is a young man called Benjamin Kofi. Now, Benjamin is in his mid-20s now. Benjamin started with Forever in 2013 and came from a really remote village in Africa. He didn't see a car until he was 11 years old, and it really resonated with me, and he presented himself so well. What's he now done? He achieved Forever to Drive. The first day he had his car, he slept in it. He's done Chairman's Bonus, Eagle Manager, Global Rally. He's done everything on the Forever incentive scale. Now, when he comes from a remote village with all the obstacles that young man has overcome, why on earth can't we in the UK do it as well? Because my goodness, we have it easy compared to them. So, what did going to Global Rally do for my business? Well, my goodness me, it cemented my belief in forever. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps now just talking about it. It was unbelievable. More than I would ever have expected. What did it do for my business? Well, it's my why has always been freedom. Freedom to spend time with my husband and to do what we want to do when we want to do it. Tony has always been my rock and my support when I've been working 60, 70 hours a week. When I came home and gave him my iPad and said, can you look at this business opportunity? He said, what is it about? I said, hello. He said, yeah, okay. And he's always been there for me. So by going to Global Rally, I know that one day I'm going to walk across that stage with Tony hand in hand. I don't know where yet, because it won't be announced till next year, but I know that we will walk across that stage together and pick up a cheque, and that's what Global Rally did for me. I ran a large company turning over millions of pounds rather, but I was never offered a free holiday. He just expected me to work more and more. So that's what going to Global Rally did for me.
Thank you. Don't run away. Don't run away. That was brilliant. Thank you. So, most of the people here haven't qualified. Every hand went up when I asked if travel is important to them. What would your top tip be, having traveled the journey you have so far with Forever and been exposed to the rallies? Just don't think about it. She hasn't prepped for this. It's going to come right from the heart. So what top tip would you give to people working towards an incentive or for whom travel is important?
Have belief. Have belief, because what we have in our hands is absolutely unbelievable. And to witness people from 15,000 people from countries all around the globe, it honestly was something else. It was unbelievable. So belief in the company, belief in yourselves, and my goodness me, we can crack the world with this. It's unbelievable.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diana.
Give her a big round of applause. Well done. Very, very, very well done. You know, listening to Sally, it gives me goosebumps, never mind her goosebumps. And so belief, so where do you get belief? How can you build belief? Because I didn't believe it was possible for me. You know, belief is built in, it's progressive. It doesn't happen overnight. Like, you can't take a belief tablet, can you? I wish we could. You know, but belief comes or builds from attending events like this, going to the advisory board training events, going to your team trainings, logging into your team webinars. It is a progressive evolutionary process. So it is about constantly plugging in, and that's what Sally has been very consistent at, is sticking and staying part of her business, not being on the fringes of Forever, but being in the thick of it. And your belief will continue to build that it's possible for you, however you define, travel is important to you. If we look at how do you qualify, so you can qualify for the travel by qualifying for the Global Rally, which is every spring. It's applicable to all the countries around the world, and you can qualify at a number of different levels. And I can remember seeing those numbers for the first time when I was struggling, or it was a huge effort just to do 4 CCs every month in that first year. To suddenly think of doing 1,500 CCs in a year, you might as well have said 150 gazillion. Anybody else feel like that? But let's chunk it down, because if it's possible for one person, it's possible for everybody. So when we look at the Global Rally, the qualification is between the 1st of January and the end of December. Now, all of this information is in your company policy handbook, which came in your starter pack. The company policy handbook is downloadable off the Forever Knowledge website. You can download the individual incentive criteria off the Forever Knowledge website. I want you to get the essence of what this business is about and what's on offer for you. So at the 1,500 plus CC in the calendar year, it counts the CCs in your non-manager group and their respective downline managers according to the breakdown of the first, second, and third generation managers. You can see at the higher level you qualify, the more rewards you get. It is really that simple. I'm not going to go through it all, 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights, etc., etc. But there's definitely a reward related benefit to qualifying at the higher levels. And a significant one is the 5K level. And having qualified at 5,000 for 4 years, it is pretty spectacular. Just when you think forever it can't get any better at spoiling you, making you feel like royalty, and really feeling appreciated, and a core integral part of this company, they do it. And I must share with you, it's for you plus one. And if your plus one, spouse, partner, isn't able to go, your plus one can be anybody. I know I've been fortunate enough to take my sister. My sister loves the plus one idea because she knows where the rally is before I do. She knows exactly what the hotels are, what the, how much money we're getting on the card. And the first time she said, so do we get to split that money? I said, no, that's mine, but I'll treat you for supper. It's for you plus one, so you don't have to take your spouse, your partner. Don't tell your partner that it's for them if you want to take a friend and have a girly or a guy's weekend away. So here's the breakdown. The higher your CCs, the higher the rewards are going to be. And as Sally said, you're treated pretty spectacularly. And if we look at the list of destinations, this is just the last few years. If I think back to when I first qualified in 2004, some of the places that we've been fortunate enough to travel to are San Francisco, Anaheim and California. My kids have been to Disney in Anaheim, California. We've been to McAllen, Texas to visit the aloe fields. Who'd like to go see the aloe fields? When I think I've got one of my managers here, Sarah Montgomery, who went to the aloe fields how long ago? 2014. It changed Sarah. There's just something magical that happens when you're there, when you're at the start of the whole process of what this whole company is about. So I've been to McAllen, Texas. We've been to the Bahamas. We've been to Washington. We've been right around Europe, really right across North America. Who fancies a holiday or 7 or 8 or 9 or 12 nights in Johannesburg in South Africa? What about Hawaii? We've been to Hawaii twice. Now, I always say that my kids have surfed or been in beaches right around the world. Bahamas, the Atlantis in Bahamas. They've surfed in Hawaii. They have surfed in Sydney. Okay, that was a personal holiday, but it paid for by Forever Income. Dallas. Who'd like to go to Singapore? We had 12 nights in the Marina Bay Sands Hotel. Does that sound exotic? What's your first reaction? Just shout it out when you see that list of destinations. Wow. So when you look at qualifying, you can also qualify as a chairman's bonus qualifier, and the numbers are a lot less compared to the global rally. So chairman's bonus qualifier, you need to be a manager, you need to be active, you need 700 CCs, non-manager business, of which 150 must be new. You must have qualified for the Earned Incentive Program, so the CAR program, and you need at least one manager in your group who's doing 600 CCs. Now, if you're anything like me, when I first looked at those qualifications, way back in the beginning, 1,500, 2,500, 5,000, 5,000. Who the heck could do 5,000? I couldn't even do 4. 5,000. What do I have, a CC printing machine? 5,000. Give me a break. That's just not real until you do it. And so if you feel that way, I want to chunk it right down. What are you going to do differently when you leave here today? This is the bit that counts, because it's laying those stepping stones or those building blocks that's going to give you the progression and the growth that you're looking for. So what did I do? What do I do? What do we do? We use the products with passion. And what do I mean when I say we use the products with passion? You and I, right now, left the Rico Arena, drove straight to your house and entered the front door, and I left you at your front door and went through all your cupboards in your kitchen and your bathroom and then your utility room, would I find products that aren't forever? Where we have a forever product? I'm not looking at anybody. But you need to ask yourself, are you using the products with passion? Because that's how I define using the products with passion. There are no other brands in our house. If we have a product in our range, that's what we use. Because if you're using all the products, the sharing becomes easier. You literally just share with confidence by sharing your own personal use. Now, it's not just about having the odd conversation. It's about having a pre-planned or premeditated plan of where your customers are going to come from. And I continue to do, I continue to do aloe pop-up bars. And it was something I was not very good at. The first pop-up bar I did, I went home with a bucket full of disappointment. But I was determined to become good at them so I could teach my team how to become good at them. I continue to do experience packs all the time. I have 20 regular gel customers. That's 1 month's order of aloe gels. Who'd like to have an aloe wall arrive every month when you do your monthly order? Leaders don't do anything differently than people developing leaders, but they do it. The thing is, they do the activity. So use the products with passion, share them, but have a retail strategy every month, a written detailed plan of where your new customers are coming from, how you're following up with your customers so you're not just having one-off sales, you're getting retention, and your customers will stay with you for a long time. Show the opportunity with pride. I learned for me to share the opportunity with pride, I had to do a little bit of homework. Because if I was scared, people asking me questions, and I needed to know what those questions are I was scared of and find the answers so I felt confident and proud to share this opportunity. I didn't like turning up to one-to-ones or having phone calls where I kind of felt a little bit like I was apologizing or not feeling very confident, hoping that they wouldn't ask me anything. It is a commitment to do the learning, to go to the trainings. We're so spoiled today with technology because everything is on YouTube. And if you do those first three things, use the products with passion, show the products with confidence, show the opportunity with pride, guess what? You'll duplicate with fun in your team. And if you're not keeping it fun, nobody's happy and there's no duplication. But the key is to be consistent. You've got to be consistent, run your business like a business. It's not something you can do in your spare time because nobody has spare time. So those are 2 ways you can qualify for the Forever Travel. I want to hear from another great person who's going to look at travel from a different perspective. And when I think of Jason, I think of dynamic, I think of high energy, I think of a hard worker and someone who knows how to take responsibility for their own activity and their own business. So can you help me give a warm welcome to Jason Ward? You good? I'm going to sit down there because I'm too short for this stool. And my heels are too high to stand still.
Hello everyone. I'm Jay Ward. And before Forever, my life was quite normal. I worked a full-time job. I was an admin manager for a metering company. I went on one holiday a year, normally in the summer, to Spain or the Canaries. I also went probably 1 or 2 weekends away. And I socialised probably once or twice a month. I was happy. I'd been using Forever products since I was 18, so 16 years before I seriously took a look at the opportunity. I didn't actually realise I was looking for an opportunity like Forever. So when I seen the business, I seen the 35% discount on the products I was using anyway. So I got started. When my box arrived, I got into all the products. Some products I'd never used before, but they was all fantastic. So just naturally shared them with my friends and family and built an instant retail business. Within the first 3 months, I'd hit 4 CCs each month and won my first team incentive. I didn't actually know the incentive was on until I achieved it. It was a day's training at Longbridge Manor. To be honest, I nearly didn't go. I nearly thought, no, it's not for me. I'm not building a business. Why waste my time? On the morning travelling down to Longbridge, I nearly turned round and went home. Again, I just thought, it's pointless. It was a day's training with the wider team and a special guest speaker. The speaker was Diana Page. I'd never told her this, but it was because of Diana, my mindset changed on that day. I left Longbridge thinking, wow, what have I got my hands on? And I never thanked Diana for that, so I'd like to personally thank you now for your wise words in 2012. It's because of this day training, 6 weeks later, I hit supervisor. And I decided at that point, every incentive that was on, I was going for. I achieved 4CC Club levels 1, 2 and 3 and team building incentive level 1, 2 and 3 within the next 12 months. I got my yellow suitcase. To be honest, it was the first time I'd seen a yellow suitcase and I didn't actually know what the excitement was about until I got one, and then I was like, yes. And because of these incentives, I also hit assistant manager. Assistant manager wasn't even on my goal board, but because I was going for an incentive, the actions came with results. It was around this time that Forever released non-qualifiers incentive for the Global Rally London. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And I smashed it. I went to the London Global Rally for free and absolutely loved it. But it made me aware what this company was about and that normal people just achieving these amazing things. So when I left, I was on a high. 2 months later, I hit manager. I was still doing this around my full-time job and just my new-found hectic social life. I found being busy really helped. The busier I was, the more people I see, the more people I could speak to about the opportunity. Now at this point, I made the decision to keep running my Forever business around my full-time career. And the extra money I made, I was going to do some charity work I always wanted to do, buy a new car, and also go on more holidays. And if I could squeeze in, maybe some long weekends away. So, I need to work out how I was going to do both together though. So I put a plan together. I used my 7-day plans and my activity trackers, and that's for my customers and the people I spoke to about the business. The next 12 months were amazing. The results came in. I did the charity work, I found a local charity, and you know what, it was great giving back to people and getting nothing for it. It felt amazing. I got my new car, and I went on 5 weeks holiday abroad, and 6 long weekends away. I'd never been away from home so much, and every single penny of it was paid by my Forever business. I was then lucky enough to go to South Africa at the Global Rally in 2016 as a guest. It was a game changer for me. I witnessed everything up first-hand, up close as a manager. And my belief in the company was never stronger. I came back home so excited on a high, and I went to work. But a few months later, my sponsors decided to stop building their business. I was devastated. To be honest, I didn't know what to do. I lost my way. I just didn't know where to go. And it's not like we had loads of planning meetings or they helped me do loads of things. It was my safety net had gone. My go-to person wasn't there anymore. The next 18 months, I just coasted along, always 4CC active. I had a great retail business and a great small manager business. It still allowed me to have my weekends away, my holidays, and the lifestyle I became accustomed to. I thought I was okay being okay. And then at the end of last year, beginning of this year, over a 4-month period, I lost both my grandparents. They've both been in hospital for quite a while as well. I've got to admit, it made me realise how precious life was, and we only get one chance. A month later, I was flying out to Stockholm on the Global Rally, which I decided I needed to kick up the bum and I need to pay for myself to go. So I did. At the rally, it made me realise one thing, that it doesn't matter what's happening in my life, Forever is a constant. It's strong, it's secure, and it will grow no matter what. And it was up to me whether I want to go with the growth or not. So I left the Global Rally, super excited, and I needed a new goal. And I needed something really, really strong that was going to make me work hard. So, on a whim, I booked a 10-day holiday in Antigua. But no normal holiday. I paid for upper-class tickets, a beachfront villa, the works. On paper, it looked like paradise. But you know what scared me? The cost. I'd never spent that much money ever on anything in my life, apart from my car. But apart from that, nothing else I'd ever spent that much money for. And I was just a bit like, how am I going to do this? So I put a plan together. I worked it every single day. And the results are, since the Global Rally, I've recruited 17 new FBOs, and I have an average of 10 case credits per month retail. And on Sunday, just gone, I got back from the most amazing 10 days in Antigua, thanks to my Forever business. Thank you.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So, the key thing that really stood out for me is the busier you were, the better it was.
Yes.
So if I asked you what would be one top tip you would share with people about activity or taking action, what would it be?
Consistency. It doesn't matter what's happening in your life, as long as you touch your business every single day, the results still happen. You know, when I had my, as I call my downtime for 18 months, which I was still doing my 4 case credits, still building my business, my income didn't really change that much because I was still touching my business every day. Even though I wasn't growing, I was still getting the results from the activities I was doing.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Brilliant. So go and get busy. You've got to be busier. If you're not busy enough, you've got to get busier and busier. I want to just quickly show you the other travel incentive is Eagle Manager. And again, all this information is available in the company policy handbook and on Forever Knowledge. So there's another retreat. It is for qualifying managers. You can qualify at any level from manager and above. This qualification period is slightly different. It's 1st of May to 31st of April. 720 cc's total business, of which 100 needs to be new, and 2 qualifying supervisors in that period. If you're a gem manager, you've got to have qualifying managers in your team. But when you look at the list of destinations, just the last few years, when you look at that list of destinations, what's your first reaction? Wow. And again, this is a company where ordinary people can achieve extraordinary lives. I really want you to embrace the idea of travel, whatever your passion for travel is. And I've got our 3rd speaker, Lucy McGinnis. When I think of Lucy, I think she's got an amazing story about what Forever has allowed her to do. And it comes back to having a vision, making a decision, having a plan, and working that plan. So help me give a warm welcome to Lucy McGinnis. And again, I'm going to go and sit there because I'm too short
Thank you.
for that stool. If you just keep an eye on the timer, if you finish when there's 2 minutes left, is that okay?
Yeah, so
because I think we started later than the other pods, yeah? Okay, so go.
Okay. Hi, so my name is Lucy McGinnis, and I work full-time as an auditor for the NHS, which is something I've done for about 10 years now. And in and around my busy career, everything else in my life, for the past about 8 years, I have been building my Forever business. So my goal and my husband's goal has always been to travel the world. We literally want to experience as many places and go and see as many cultures as possible. For me, I am a massive foodie, so the fact that I can eat my way around the world and experience loads of different new foods is something that really excites me. Travel is something for me that helps me to appreciate what I have. When you go to lots of different countries, it makes you realise how lucky you are, but also it inspires me to think about what else I could achieve and experience. And I genuinely believe that travel is just one of those things that, well, it's just one of the best things that anyone could experience, really. So I have always travelled. I've been really fortunate, but I was always, before Forever, really restricted on, you know, how many times a year I could go away, and also the kinds of places that I could stay in. So 8 years ago, when I was presented with this opportunity, I saw a way that I could fund lots of trips, not just one each year. And even better, there was a chance to qualify for all expenses paid trips. So I was sold. So all of the income that I earn from Forever, so whether that's retailing or team bonuses, I actually put into a special pot that I call my travel pot. And essentially that is just money that I can play with, and it's so exciting to know that all of that money is going to be spent on me and my husband traveling the world. So now, instead of doing just one holiday a year, we actually do at least 4 a year. So my husband's motto is to travel at least once a quarter. So for me and my husband Kieran, 2019 started with a trip to Iceland. I was a little bit nervous because I'd never been on a cold holiday before, but it was literally one of the most magical places I'd ever been to. We took a private tour out in a Jeep. I mean, the tyres were literally bigger than me, you know, as tall as me. But we went out into the glacier and we watched the sunrise, and you just feel like you're literally the only people in the whole world, just surrounded by miles and miles of snow. It was really, really magical. One of our favourite places is Asia. In the last couple of years, we've been to Hong Kong, we've been to Thailand, Vietnam and Bali twice. And we've actually just booked flights to go to the Philippines in February, which we are really, really excited about. I think one of my most favourite experiences was in Bali when literally in the middle of the night, we got up and we climbed up a volcano in the dark, at times scrabbling up rocks to watch the sunrise, which was just breathtaking, really. Another thing that we absolutely loved was scuba diving in Bali in the Gili Islands, where we managed to see huge starfish, which was one of my favourite things. So we'd never been to Scandinavia, so when the opportunity came up to go to Stockholm, I had to be there. So I actually qualified for the UK incentive so that you could get the free tickets to go to the rally, and then I put a plan in place so that I could basically use my retailing income to pay for the flights. Stockholm was an incredible city. It was like nowhere we had really been before. There was so much to do. It's a really clean and organised, beautiful city. But for me, it was the rally that was the experience that I'll never, ever forget. It was really, really powerful. We got to hear from a base jumper who has actually been to a Success Day here. You might have heard her. But her story of courage and strength and self-belief literally blew me away. I mean, the arena, I think it was like 15,000 business owners, you could hear a pin drop. So I think the thing that hit home to me was to hear her story. It just blew any excuse I've ever had about anything completely out of the window. It's really hard to explain, but obviously if you were there yourself, you'll know the energy and the positivity that the rally brings. And my belief in the company completely rocketed. I left that rally knowing that this is literally the best opportunity in the world. And I think to see thousands of lives changing was completely overwhelming for me. For me, it was really powerful to have my husband there as well, because now his belief in what I do has grown as well. And I think it helps him to understand why I spend so much time doing what I do. And I have to really quickly mention the Forever Party, because they really know how to throw a party. We absolutely love that. So for all of those reasons, Stockholm was definitely one of our best trips.
Thank you. And because travel is so important to you, and I find it amazing, you know, when I heard your story that your forever income is all about travel, what would be your top tip? For everybody here for whom travel is a passion, what would be your top tip for them?
I think find something or a place that really, really excites you. So, for example, the Philippines, we sat down one day and we just started to look at all the incredible things that we could do in that country. And when you find something that drives you and makes you that excited, you're going to want to touch your business. And it's having that connection to your goals, I think.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lucy. So you've heard about travel from 3 different perspectives, or 4 different perspectives. And when I think about, you know, my vision for my children, for anybody here who has children, you know, I grew up thinking or feeling like there was a world out there. And when I started a family, I didn't want my kids to feel there was a world out there. I wanted them to feel like they were part of that world. And because of the travel that they've had with Forever, they are now traveling on their own. It's given them the confidence, it's given them the open-mindedness to embrace new cultures and new traditions and new customs, and they have had many adventures on their own without us. And so Forever has helped me to fulfill my vision of helping them to not see the world out there, but the world that they are part of that world. So however you see travel, I want you to know that with Forever, everything is possible. It is an opportunity where ordinary people can achieve extraordinary lives if you just apply the top tips that we've shared with you today. So I want to say a big thank you again to my guests, Sally, Jason, and Lucy. Give them a big round of applause. I thank you. Have a good lunch, and I look forward to seeing you all in Sydney.